Hi, Adam. Thank you so much for taking some time to meet with us today. We wanted to ask you a few questions concerning both the Pathways internship and then just some fun trivia. So Adam, the public can often be fed conflicting topics concerning the environment and public health. Therefore, we wanted to take some time in this segment, Fact or Myth, in which we hope to prompt statements that you can either debunk or validate them in order to better inform the public.
I'm excited
Okay.
to do that. The environment is a all hands on deck enterprise, so people have to have the knowledge because knowledge is power, and we have to feel confident that we can make a difference because we absolutely can make a difference.
Amazing. And yeah, definitely. So first, fact or myth? Electric vehicles are worse for the climate than gasoline cars because of power plant emissions.
That one is a myth, and overall, various studies have shown that there's no question that electric vehicles are better, especially in the long run. But also, as our society transitions to more clean sources of energy, we're going to have energy coming from clean sources as well. And also, in most utility markets, people can choose to have their own home powered by clean energy as well. So that is a myth.
Amazing. Okay, second, fact or myth? Bedbugs are a public health pest.
That is a fact. They are absolutely a public health pest. And we've worked closely with the CDC and USDA to identify pests of public health importance that pose real threats to people and their families. So we've issued a pesticide registration notice that lists pests of significant public health risk. And bed bugs are absolutely on this list.
Amazing. And then last but not least, fact or myth? Recycling is no longer beneficial to the environment due to high rates of contamination.
Well, that is that, my friends, is a myth. There's no question that contamination is a problem. We have to continue to educate the public to make sure that they recycle right and also have facilities that can get the bad stuff out of recycling. But not all plastics are recyclable, but many of them are. And in particular, number one plastics and number two plastics, and you can find them on the bottom of most containers, the recycling symbol in a little number. Those not just are recyclable, but are very valuable. And aluminum cans are the most valuable. So if you have a chance to purchase an aluminum can rather than a type of plastic, you want to do that because it's worth almost $1,500 a ton. So that's a good money maker. But recycling is strong, but we need everybody's help to do it right.
So interesting, Adam. Thank you so much for taking the time to debunk these myths or validate these facts. So it is very important for everybody to take time to make sure that what they're reading is coming from a trusty source such as the EPA. Thank you.
Thank you.
That was good. Okay.
Hi, Adam. Thank you for taking the time to talk with us and answer some of our questions. I just have a question for you, if that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
So I was just wondering, and for anyone else wondering, so if I don't major in a scientific field, can I still work for the EPA? And what sort of jobs or work could I do in the EPA?
Well, EPA is a scientific agency. There's no question about it. We need folks from the sciences, but we need all disciplines to help clean up the environment. So, a big part of what we do is also communicating and community engagement. So folks in background with public affairs or marketing and communications are absolutely needed. There's lots of grants management. There's lots of administrative roles as well. And, just like every day, just common sense. So, regardless of your discipline, there's a place for you at EPA. It is very science-based, so we do definitely want scientists and chemists and biologists, but we have a lot of disciplines here, and we can use all the intelligence that we possibly can from folks from all sorts of academic backgrounds.
Thank you.
All right, so the question I have for you, Adam, do you have ideas about how citizens, such as people who don't work for the EPA, might get engaged with the mission of EPA to protect public health and the environment?
Well, that's a big mission to protect public health and the environment. There's a lot to do. And, our agency has a role. We have laws that we carry out from Congress and funding to give out to support projects, but all of us can play a role regardless of what we do for a living or where we live. Simple everyday things like recycling or, trying to purchase healthy or sustainable products is an important way that people can help. To educate others on environmental issues is an easy thing to do. You can do it on social media by posting things that are helpful and also talking to your family and friends. But even in your classes or at your university or in your place of business, you can always encourage more thoughtful and sustainable practices like using clean energy as much as possible, cutting down on needless travel or carpooling, finding ways to be sustainable and thoughtful in reusing everyday items or not using things that aren't necessary can all help. So it's a big job cleaning up the environment. EPA cannot do it alone. So no matter who you are, where you are, what you do, we need your help. So, please step up and step in because we need you.
Thanks, Adam.
And my question for you today, Adam, is what are some of the ways that the EPA serves the communities it regulates? And how can EPA employees get involved in the communities that they work in?
Well, the environment is a physical place, right? It's actually on the ground. It's the air, land, and water all around us. And we're really focused on places where contamination or pollution threats can affect public health. And that happens where people live. So these can be communities of all sizes in all places, urban and rural, whether it's something in the air, making sure that there's not air pollution or that we're monitoring to make sure that we know what's in the air. And if there's a problem, we detect it and take care of it. Or on the land, if there's contaminated land or the use of pesticides that's improper, that is where it intersects with the public and the water. Some pollution is legacy stuff that's in the water from industrial uses years ago, but some of it is from the land, even including litter. So what can people do? Everybody can do something. And our employees are, we might have different roles. Employees may not necessarily be in community meetings all the time, but it's easy to track what we're doing on social media. We try to post. And one of my favorite phrases to everybody in the organization is don't be shy. If there's something that you're interested or excited about or curious about, even if it isn't in your job description, talk to another employee, talk to a manager in another division, just to learn about it. People are happy to have a cup of coffee or meet over lunch or meet online just to share notes. We have to be one team. So regardless of what section or office or division or what floor people work on, please reach out. We got to work together and listen and learn from each other.
Yeah, thank you, Adam.
You got it.
Now, it was mentioned you potentially have questions for us.
So many questions. Well, what do you think? Same questions. How can employees get involved? How have you been involved? Have you been exposed to things that, maybe were unexpected?
I know my team a lot with permits. Not that this is necessarily community engagement, because it's just public engagement, but they always talk about having to go to public meetings where they're people can come and comment on the permits, and then also responding to the comments during the public comment period. And they say that's one of the number one ways how they feel they're interacting with the communities that they're directly helping to regulate. Then Bianca, not to put you on the spot, but I feel your work with the school buses is a total direct community engagement.
Definitely. I think something really cool about the Air and Radiation Division is that one of their branches both combines grant allocation and funding with program partnerships. And we work with communities to better inform them of the programs they can apply to or the grants they can apply to. And for example, I'm actually going on August 21st, if I'm not mistaken, to a community college to talk about the Clean School Bus program. I'm actually going to take a few decks and talk a little bit about what the program is and how they can be better involved in order for their school districts or their college districts to electrify their school bus fleets, which pretty interesting. So yeah, definitely. I think there's different ways in which each branch within the EPA is able to engage with communities. And I think it's become like a more a topic that it's more thought of and incorporated within plans, because it's definitely important to understand what the community is doing, what are the needs of the community in order to better address them. So yeah, I definitely have felt that throughout my internship in the EPA.
Oh, good. That's a great example. Others?
Yeah, with the wetlands branch, I work with the Enhancing State and Tribal Programs group. And what we do is we try to help states and local tribes find like sources for federal funding for wetland programs. And this helps us create all these local, the funding gets sent to like very local wetland mitigation bank projects and to have impacts on local streams and wetlands.
That's awesome. Yeah, I think that there's an increasing emphasis on having people see, hear, and touch communities and the people in the communities. And I think that's an area where we're growing as an agency, that we're not just about inspections and enforcement. That's an important part of what we do, but also making sure our programs are working, whether it's school bus or whether it's, wetland restoration or pesticides or RIC or toxics. We have to ground truth it. We have to make sure that we're connecting, because if people aren't buying in at the local level, we're not going to be successful. So that's so important. One of the great things about working in the federal government and in this agency also is that you get to scoot around to different parts of the organization. It's easy to have transfers or details to other parts of the agency. People can get a very well-rounded experience. And that is not always true in places I've worked. And I've worked in a lot of great places. Pretty much you're in your position, unless there's a promotional opportunity. But because of the size of the agency and just the incredible complexity and all the different types of work we have to do, there's a real emphasis on giving people experience in all different types of areas, from inspections to grant making to management, administration, to community engagement. So that's a really, really cool thing about working at EPA and working in the federal government, that everybody should try to take advantage of. And Noelle can speak to that better than anybody, since she's in a detail in the front office. But it happens all the time, and we always support it.
Yeah, no, that was all great. I agree with everything. Yep, EPA is a fantastic place to work, and just you really can't quite understand like the reach, I think, and the breadth of work that EPA does until you actually come here and just realize, EPA is almost involved in so many, like everything. Anything you can think of, you can maybe find a way to connect it right back to EPA or partners we work with directly. So yeah, I agree. And it's really cool to be in this role, to have so much, opportunity and so many different ways to influence public health in the environment.
Yeah, well, I've got to get myself prepared for the rest of the day, but I'm really glad we had the opportunity to connect here. Thank you, all of you, for participating, for leaning in, for asking questions, but also giving us things to think about. As I've said several times to you, don't be shy, in every sense of that phrase. Don't be shy in asking for opportunities or information, not just with us, but, elsewhere as you seek to develop your career. And please stay in touch with us. The socials, many of us are on LinkedIn, and other ways of staying connected. So, please keep us posted. Please keep me posted on what you're up to. And if there are any ways that we can provide support. We're really, really excited to support you and really, really glad that you've been here with us.
Really appreciate that. Thank you, Adam. And same here. If there's anything we can help in, we're more excited to do so. It's been a really good experience learning from so many people that have so much more knowledge than we could ever think of. And being able to learn a little bit from all these people has been truly a great experience. So we thank you.